Boys and girls, today I want you to take a look at some things that have to do with long division. I want you to look at the diagram that I have here. We're going to go over some of the vocabulary words and what each one of these numbers in this division problem are. So if you look at my diagram here, I have 56 divided by 7 equals 8. And in this picture here, you have three different numbers. This number 7 is called a divisor in division. So the number here, you're dividing into this number here. So this is the divisor. All right? This number 56 here is your dividend. Your dividend is here. And once you complete the division problem, your answer goes here right on this top line, and your answer is called the quotient. So these are three important words that you need to know: divisor, dividend, and quotient. All right. There's a way to help you remember all of the steps of a long division problem. And I want you to remember daddy, mother, sister, brother. Don't forget your dog named Rover. Sounds kind of funny, right? But if you take the first letter of each one of those words, if you can remember daddy, mother, sister, brother, don't forget your dog named Rover, then you can remember all of the steps for long division. So let's take a look at those. The D in daddy stands for divide. That's the very first step in your long division, is to divide. The second step is to multiply. The third step is to subtract. And then your fourth step is to bring down the next number in the dividend. I want you to notice how I drew a line here and I drew a line here, because you're going to go back and repeat all of these steps if you have more numbers to divide in your problem. We're going to take a look at it in just a minute. When you're completely finished with doing all of your long division, then you need to look at the very bottom of your problem. Do you have a number that's left over? We call that number a remainder. And you don't want to just leave it hanging there. We want to remember to bring the remainder up with our answer. And we're going to take a look at some of those examples. All right. Don't forget daddy, mother, sister, brother. Don't forget your dog named Rover. Now, if you need to write this on your paper over on the side, do that. If it will help you remember it, write these letters down to help you remember. All right, so look at my problem. I have 265 divided by 2. All right, remember, this is my divisor. This is my dividend. Your first step is to divide. So I'm going to divide 2 into 2. How many times will 2 go into 2? It will go 1 time. So I'm going to write that here in my quotient. Notice that I'm writing it right above this number that I divided into. All right, so my second step is to multiply. 1 times 2 equals 2. I'm going to write my answer here. Third step is to subtract. So 2 minus 2 equals 0. All right? Bring down the next number. So I've got to look right here, and 6 is my next number. So I'm going to bring it down and write it here. Notice my arrow. I have to go all the way back up and repeat this process. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm dealing with allergies. All right. So we're going to start the process over again. 2, I've got to divide. I want to know how many times will 2 go into 6. My answer is 3. Remember, this is where my answer goes. It's called the quotient. So I write my answer 3 here. And now I have to multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. I have to write that down. Third step is to subtract, and I have 0. Fourth step is to bring down my other number. So I have a 5 here, so I've got to bring it all the way down to here. I got to go back all the way back up to the top. Every time you bring a number down, you have to go back through all of these steps again. How many times will 2 go into 5? It will go in it 2 times. So 2 is my answer. I have to put it here in my quotient. And now step 2 is to multiply. 2 times 2 is 4, so I have to write that answer down. My third step is to subtract. 5 minus 4 equals 1. Now I can't do this process all over again because I don't have any numbers left. So I'm left with 1, which is my remainder. Don't forget your remainder. We're going to put it up here on the quotient line. I'm going to put a capital R for remainder and then a 1 because 1 was my remainder. When you're dividing, your remainder always has to be less than your divisor. If this number is greater than this number, then you've messed up somewhere here and your dividing was incorrect. You need to go back and check it. So always make sure that your remainder is less than your divisor. All right, I wrote it again. Daddy, mother, sister, brother, don't forget your dog named Rover. All right, now I have 569, and we're going to divide 8 into this number. So I'm going to divide 8 into 5, but 8 won't go into 5. So now I have to take 8 and add my 6 here, and I have 56. How many times will 8 go into 56? It will go into 7 times. 7 is my answer. It goes on my quotient line. But notice that I'm putting my 7 right above this 56. All right, step 2, multiply. 7 times 8 is 56. Step 3 is to subtract, and I have 0. Step 4 is to bring down this next number. Now I have to start it all over again. How many times will 8 go into 9? It will go 1 time, so I write that answer in my quotient. Step 2, multiply. 1 times 8 is 8. Step 3 is to subtract. 9 minus 8 equals 1. I don't have any more numbers to bring down. And my remainder is less than my divisor. So I'm finished with this math problem, except I can't forget that remainder. So I have to write a capital R here, and I put a period here to abbreviate remainder. And then I bring my remainder 1 up here. Okay? Don't forget to don't leave your remainder down here hanging. You need to remember to bring it up into your quotient. All right. Again, daddy, mother, sister, brother, don't forget your dog named Rover. Now I have 7,309, and I want to divide 3 into this number. Now notice I have my diagram labeled here. So what I want you to do for homework is 2 things. Number 1, I want you to label this problem just like we did on the very first board. After you've used this, using your vocabulary words, don't spell them wrong. Make sure they're spelled correctly. And lastly, I want you to finish this division problem for homework. Bring this one back to class tomorrow. Label it first with your vocabulary words, and then I want you to work the problem and find the answer.